Afternoon and welcome to, how cool is that? I love that voice. Let me listen to it again. I'll be fine now. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to Graduations 2022. My name is Gerben van die Kerk. It's my great honor to be this Master of Ceremonies for this afternoon, together with my co-host. You can hear him? No, it's there? All right. It's great having everyone here. At the moment, just a couple of announcements. Our live stream link is available at livestream.ufs.ac.za when it becomes available. And then children under the age of 10 should be accompanied by an adult and must be strictly monitored to prevent disturbances to the program. That goes for a couple of the husbands as well. Right, very important. Special seats are allocated towards the back of the venue for parents with children. Please utilize these seats only. The university makes use of official photographers. They are here today. Please only use those photographers. Please stand as the processions enter the hall and remain standing until the congregation has been constituted by the Chancellor or Rector and Vice-Chancellor. Avoid moving around during the ceremony and leaving the hall to avoid disturbing proceedings. Please keep your cell phones on silent during the ceremony. And it's very interesting, I have last year's program with me here, still a note that says, please wear your masks at all time. But I think we can skip that one, am I right? And today is the time to celebrate the achievement of each graduate. Hearing the full names of each student being announced is important to everyone. So we're going to ask you to please just keep those cheers short so we can hear the name of the next graduate. After the singing of the national anthem, please remain standing until the main procession has left the venue. Now, usually what we do at the University of the Free State, because we're a research institution, we do a little bit of research. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And if you agree with that, please just give me a round of applause. Is everyone game with that? Okay. So the first one, who's excited to be here? Usually I get a big response during the PhD students, during that graduation when they ask the next question, who's relieved to be here? Right? A little bit of relief. Usually with the siblings, I get a big response from the next question. Who is surprised to be here? Yes, siblings. I told you, siblings. And then lastly, who's proud to be here? And we are very proud to have you here today, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome to the University of the Free State and Graduations 2022.
my drink. Not that I should be drinking alcohol today after last night.
I think he's still around. I think he's only leaving on the 16th.
Situations that you don't want. Like, and it's small as well. Like, if I'm standing in the super and someone is talking trash and something, I don't want to hear it. And I become, I just, you
But yeah, he got a new job in PE.
like,
Yeah, he's moving to PE.
I mean,
No, on the 16th.
Probably there with
because doesn't it sound like
So what
it's really small?
Adrian is at Grey College.
yeah.
He's working at I think they should, but there's talks of them
Okay, well
getting
then it's
sent.
fine. Then I take it.
That's my hometown.
In PE. And there's so many great players.
Say again?
There's so many great players.
Yeah.
I was playing with Sean Lyon.
That's what I was trying to say. I understand that because I don't want to make
Is he still at the university?
I didn't.
Sure.
I think she moved to the last time we met.
No, that's Carl Stein was also there.
And Sean did say he wanted to, at some point, he wanted to be auditioning for jobs in the army.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. There's feedback on the mic. Good afternoon, ladies and 1, 2. I don't know where's the. Just bear with us for a minute. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. By virtue of the power vested in me as acting Chancellor, I hereby constitute this congregation of the University of the Free State for the awarding and conferral of qualifications in the faculties of the Humanities, Natural and Agricultural Sciences, and the Faculty of Theology and Religion. I therefore award and confer qualifications to and on all the candidates presented by the Dean of the respective faculty present to this congregation. In addition, I hereby award and confer qualifications to and on those whose names appear in the program, but who are not present here today. You may be seated. Dear graduates and distinguished guests, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all on this auspicious and joyous occasion on behalf of the University of the Free State. Today is a special day indeed. There's very few events and occasions hold as much significance as your graduation. This day is just as important for those who have supported you along this long journey. For many in the audience today, the event marks the culmination of a great deal of hard work and, in many cases, sacrifice, whether that sacrifice is financial or whether it's been emotional. There will be many here today who are the first to obtain a university education in their family. Well done. I think we can give them a hand of applause. So even in the midst of the disruptive past 2 years, you have earned this moment and you should be extremely proud. Graduates, you have had the honor of studying at an institution that commands a track record that is on par with well-regarded national and international peers, as reflected in the 2023 Times Higher Education ranking, as well as the World University Impact Rankings. Although the mission of our university has always been to equip you with knowledge and skills needed to make a difference in your field of study, we are also mindful that qualities and values are as important for you to make a difference in your community or to society at large. The University of the Free State places great emphasis on ensuring that students and staff have an outstanding university experience. In our pursuit of excellence, we are proud that our environment is conducive for intellect and knowledge to flourish. And as such, our values of excellence, innovation and impact, accountability, care, social justice, and sustainability are embedded in all of our activities across the whole university. In 2034, the university will commemorate 130 years in existence. Our optimism for the future of this university is reflected in the conceptualization of what we call Vision 130, which sets out our aspirations, but also our intentions for 2034. It reflects our ambition to be a university with a consistent outward focus and to be profound in what we deliver, building on past achievements while constantly transforming, reimagining ourselves to stay relevant within the dynamic and ever-changing international higher education sphere. But today you stand at the cusp of a new and exciting journey that will allow you to apply the skills and the values you have gained. Your involvement in what matters most, your willingness to act against injustice and inequality, and your courage to stand up for what is right, that will define you. Whatever you may find yourself, many will look to you to lead, to reimagine, and to reshape the future. So even though the road ahead may be difficult at times, I would say to you, you should work hard, but you should also play hard, while also being mindful that the world is in constant change and the world is abundant with new opportunities. Remain open to new possibilities and embrace that change. It is up to you to align yourself with those who have a common cause. Heal the divisions that keep us separated or apart, and carry along those who have been left out and who are struggling. So to all our graduates, hearty congratulations. May you have a continued success in all your endeavors. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, graduates, academics. I'm Professor Corley Vatoon. I will be the program director for this afternoon. Professor Francis Peterson, thank you very much for your welcoming few words. I'm sure that the graduates appreciated the advice a lot. So before I introduce this afternoon's musical item, let me just speak a little bit about the house rules. First of all, the university makes use of official photographers who are present in the hall today. Those of you who arrived after the pre-ceremony announcements are encouraged to look at the graduation program. Today is a day to celebrate every single graduate. So I know that all the family and friends and fellow graduates are very excited, but we would appreciate it if you could keep your celebrations short and energetic, but short, because we want to hear the name being called of every single graduate. So if you can consider that, that the next student's name is clearly heard. We strive to conduct the graduation ceremonies in a dignified manner, and ask that you refrain from leaving the hall before the end of the ceremony. I also request that you put your cell phones on silent so that it doesn't disrupt this gathering. The song O Shenandoah tells about the longest river in America, the Missouri. Although the exact origin of the song is unknown, it most probably originated with American and Canadian fur traders traveling down the river in canoes during the 19th century. By the mid-1800s, the song had become a popular work song amongst sailors. This afternoon, the song will be performed by one of our own students, Tebelo Tsalong, accompanied by the Graduation Instrumental Ensemble.
Shenandoah, I long to see you away, your rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you where we're bound away across the wide Missouri. "'Tis 7 long years since last I seen you away, we're bound away. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you where we're bound away across the wide Missouri. Seven long years since last I seen you away, we're bound away. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you where we're bound away across the wide
Thank you very much to Tebelo Tsalong. I think you'll all agree that local is lekker. It is then up to me to introduce Professor Heidi Hudson. Professor Hudson will present the candidates in her faculty.
Acting Chancellor, I have the privilege of requesting you to award the following qualifications to the candidates that I introduced to you. The Faculty of the Humanities, certificates, diplomas, bachelor's degrees, postgraduate diplomas, honours degrees, master's and doctoral degrees. Higher Certificate in Humanities, Communication Studies and Psychology. Sindana, CL. Higher Certificate in Humanities, Communication Studies and Sociology. Fala, MM. Gabele, KC. Bachelor of Arts. Mahdi, TPW. Molelekwa, MR. Masukula, M. Molefi, XO. Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies. Makubalo, S. Molefe, ST. Shabalala, L. Shabalala, LF. Bachelor of Arts in Governance and Political Transformation. Beck, BB. Gwele, RP. Makasakasa, AN. Mzinwelwa, L. Nkosi, SNM. Peme, ML. Gadebe B. Ramodike KM. Steinberg SC. Dieng PI. Dolo MS. Lecholo T. Leotlela MP. Mbete NA. Mtaka K. Motsapi MK. Siali L. Changana M. Bachelor of Arts in Integrated Organizational Communication. Zwane NT. Mfeka MN. Profi RP. Tejane AG. Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. Gwedi MT. Mofokeng MM. Mohale MJ. Rangala RN. Bachelor of Arts, majoring in Communication Science and Psychology. Butler L. Diko V. Phyllis A. Hlongwane SJ. Lemekwana MN. Tole LA. Bachelor of Arts, majoring in History and English. Bara L. Mapalala S. Bachelor of Arts, majoring in Psychology and English. Buthelezi, NPS. Maswi, C. Mpela, KH. Skrenia, AGZ. Bachelor of Social Science. Gladla, MF. Finger, B. Khwarai, KP. Manzi, TD. Mkize, N. Moloi, TT. Mtenkulu, B. Mtatisi, L. Sibeko, TF. Bachelor of Social Science, majoring in Business Management and Political Science. Banjatwa, LL. Bolsik, VB. Bachelor of Social Science, majoring in Business Management and Psychology. Bueta, AJ. Martins, RJ. Melato, MS. Mjinkane, AC. Mule, S. Norval, HJ. Booty, RB. Weiberg, CC. Bachelor of Social Science, majoring in Criminology and Psychology. Homohaka, TA. Kula, T. Lechabo, L. Mahura T.A. Mapunga M. Mdingi H. Mkize LM. Mofokeng RP. Nase A. Sieku BR. September SC. Sozoi V. Tom UK. Bachelor of Social Science, majoring in Industrial Psychology and Political Science. Mulale S. Bachelor of Social Science, majoring in Industrial Psychology and Psychology. Lechari O. Ludidi L. Magudumana A. Mkumalo W. Peterson DC. Willemse LL. Bachelor of Social Science, majoring in Industrial Psychology and Sociology. Dichale MI. Bachelor of Social Science, majoring in Political Science and Criminology. Mdleche BC. Mujaki NT. Siwelo AV. Bachelor of Social Science, majoring in Political Science and Sociology. Majosi SMT. Bachelor of Social Science, majoring in Psychology and Sociology. Kutsia JM. Labans DJ. Makofane F. Modwane LR. Nare N. Ndara BR. Witboy A. Bachelor of Social Science, majoring in Sociology and Criminology. Mashabataha, AT. Motlong, TD. Bachelor of Social Science in Human and Societal Dynamics. Nduna, KM. Postgraduate Diploma in Governance and Political Transformation. Mtombeni P. Bachelor of Arts, Honours with Specialization in Philosophy. Prince, DD, and the degree with distinction. Bachelor of Social Science Honours with Specialization in Anthropology. Mokete, MG. Master of Arts in Governance and Political Transformation. Magwandana, FW. Master of Arts with Specialization in Anthropology. Haupt, NE. Master of Arts with Specialization in Political Science. Nkayisa, L. Master of Social Science in Clinical Psychology. Masinga, TZ. Wakamela, PL. Scholes, E. Siegel, M, and the degree with distinction. Master of Social Science with Specialization in Criminology. Barnard, L. Master of Social Science in Counseling Psychology. Duba, SCM. Ja. Bawela, LA. Van Reenen, K. Acting Chancellor, I have the privilege of requesting you to confer doctoral degrees on the candidates presented to you. I request the promoters to introduce their candidates to you.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you Priscilla Machinga. With a thesis titled A History of Maternal and Infant Health Practices in Northern Zimbabwe, 1880s to 1990s. Promoter, Dr. Sima Sakure. Co-promoter, Dr. Rita Amaral. Co-promoter, Dr. Karen Horn. Co-promoter, Dr. Kundai Manamere. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you doctorate candidate Priscilla Machinga. Priscilla Machinga's thesis, A History of Maternal and Infant Health Practices in Northern Zimbabwe, 1880s to 1990s, makes two distinct contributions in Zimbabwe's medical historiography. First, it breaks new ground as an in-depth historical study of African maternal and infant health practices. And secondly, it brings indigenous knowledge and medicine to the core of academic inquiry in Zimbabwe's historical studies. It argues that although African maternal and infant health practices underwent a complex process of transformation after colonization, the relevance of indigenous knowledge also persisted. Using oral, archival, and secondary sources, and a case study of present-day Mashonaland region in northern Zimbabwe, which was historically largely accommodated the indigenous Budja, Zezuru, and Kore people, and taking a social history and qualitative approach, a study spans three historical epochs, that is, pre-colonial, colonial, and post-colonial, in the process exploring practices surrounding, for instance, childbirth, antenatal, neonatal, postnatal care, contraception, and infant health. Chancellor, I present to you Machinga Priscilla. Thank you.
Doctor of Philosophy with specialization in Afrikaans and Dutch.
Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Carla Ellis, with a thesis titled A Sosio-linguïstische ondersoek na die gebruik van oom en tannie as aanspreekvorme onder Afrikaans sprekendes in Bloemfontein en George. Promoter, Professor H.J. Bosman from the University of Pretoria. Co-promoter, Dr. A.S. de Wet. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you to Dr. Randa Ellis Carla. With her thesis, the candidate contributes to the research pertaining to the typically Afrikaans forms of address, oom and tannie, and variants thereof. This is the most comprehensive study on this topic in Afrikaans yet. Data were collected by means of questionnaires, interviews, focus groups, systematic observation, as well as social media. 2,600 speakers of Afrikaans took part. An important contribution is the identification of sociolinguistic variables as determining factors in the use of oom and tannie. From the data, it's evident that age, respect, familiarity, social class, and status serve as determining factors, followed by occupation, contextual situation, and social convention. The age difference between speaker and addressee that serves as the accepted norm for the use of oom and tannie remains to be 10 years and older. Chancellor, I present to you Ellis Carla.
Doctor of Philosophy with specialization in governance and political transformation.
Doctor of Philosophy, PhD. Whoops, dis Annelie Meitjen. Let me begin again, sorry. Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Roy Jankelson, Governance and Political Transformation, with a thesis titled The Governance of Custodianship over Animals in South Africa, an Analysis and Alternative Framework. Promoter, Dr. Tia Coetzee. Vice-Chancellor, allow me to introduce you to Dr. Randes Roy Jankelson. With his thesis, The Governance of Custodianship over Animals in South Africa, an Analysis and Alternative Framework, the candidate has established a new and unique field of study referred to as animal custodianship, developing a framework of views within which the various groups involved in animal custodianship, whether rightist, welfarist, or dominionist, may be evaluated into the context of the developing discipline of governance. This study identifies the meta-theoretical and theoretical aspects of the theme, investigates social, societal, and theoretical approaches to the field of study, develops an academic model for the purpose of evaluation, and then employs this model to discuss the most prominent groups involved in animal custodianship in South Africa. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you Roy Jankelson.
Doctor of Philosophy with specialization in language practice.
Doctor of Philosophy, Zynie Jansen van Vuren. And the thesis was titled Non-Professional Interpreting in Animal Welfare Towards an Ecosemiotic Understanding of Interaction. Promoter, Kobus Maree. Co-promoter, Dr. Carmen Delgado Luchner, and Professor João Queiroz. Chancellor, allow me to introduce you to Dr. Randa Zynie Jansen van Vuren. With her thesis, Non-Professional Interpreting in Animal Welfare Towards an Ecosemiotic Understanding of Interaction, the candidate makes a highly original interdisciplinary contribution to the fields of translation studies broadly, interpreting studies more narrowly, as well as semiotics and ecosemiotics. With data collected from an animal welfare outreach project, this is the first study ever to include non-human animals in the interpreting process, which led assessors to praise the study for its theoretical and methodological originality, as well as for its findings, amongst which are the demonstration that and how non-human animals are crucial participants in the interactions in animal welfare contexts. Chancellor, I present to you Zynie Jansen van Vuren.
Doctor of Philosophy with specialization in philosophy.
Charles Pierre Theron Nudea, Mr. Acting Chancellor, it's my privilege and for me to present to you the candidate with a thesis titled Rede en Mythe, Bloemenberg se rasioneel vir die historiese ontvouing van narratiewe en denke, promotor Professor Pieter Dievenage, co-promotor Professor Henning Pieterse. Chancellor, allow me to introduce you to Dr. Randus Charles Pierre Theron Nudea. In his study, Rede en Mythe, Bloemenberg se rasioneel vir die historiese ontvouing van narratiewe en denke, Charles Pierre Nudea applies the thought of Hans Blumenberg to historical and modern dilemmas. Blumenberg proposes a grid to differentiate between two modes of thought, the mythical and the rational. The rational mode is more recent and is vulnerable to the older myth-making mode. Both modes remain ever present. Blumenberg's model shows that concepts that survive the times do not do so with fixed essences, but by their capacity to be employed in new functions. This has far-reaching implications for modernity studies and offers new avenues by which to effect decoloniality. Thank you. Chancellor, I present to you Charles Pierre Theron Nudea.
Doctor of Philosophy with specialization in political science.
Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Mokoena Benjamin Petrus Oupa, with his thesis titled Islamist Violent Extremism and the Fragile African State, the case in Kenya. Promoter, Professor Hussein Solomon. Vice Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you Dr. Randus Mokoena Benjamin Petrus Oupa. With his thesis titled Islamist Violent Extremism and the Fragile African State, the case in Kenya, the candidate contributes to scholarship regarding the relationship between state fragility, Islamist violent extremism, and countering Islamist violent extremism. The study finds that the properties of state fragility, inclusive of the societal structures, the substance in the fragile state, have causal capacity and tendency, providing not only the context and opportunity for, but actively generating Islamist violent extremism and barriers to countering Islamic violent extremism, and hence the failure of countering Islamic violent extremism. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you Mokoena Benjamin Pietros Oupa.
Doctor of Philosophy with specialization in Sesotho.
Doctor of Philosophy, Masipa Mpo Delina, African Languages. With this thesis titled, The Extent to which Northern Sotho language is used on social media by its young native speakers in Polokwane. Promoter, Elias Maleti. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you Doctoranda Masipa Mpo Delina. Through her thesis, The Extent to which Northern Sotho language is used on social media by its young native speakers in Polokwane, the candidate contributes to the scholarship of African languages in the field of social linguistics, her focus being on the use of Northern Sotho language in social media by young people who are communicating with their peers, relatives, and parents. Using the comprehensive statistical data analysis and participant explanation, the study explores the communicative patterns employed by the young people when they use their native language on social media to determine those factors that affect their choices between their native language and English. The study presents an overall findings that most of the participants used Northern Sotho when communicating with their family members and relatives on social media, but that they co-switched between Northern Sotho and English when speaking to their peers, friends to accommodate those who could not understand Northern Sotho. It also indicates that they value and take pride in their language. The study recommends that social media applications for indigenous languages be developed because these applications will help to simplify and facilitation of communication in both communities and learning spaces of young people. Chancellor, I present to you Masipa Mpo Delina.
I wish to thank Professor Hudson for the presentation of the excellent candidates this afternoon, and also the academics that contributed to making sure that the students are prepared to cross the stage this afternoon. Specifically to those supervisors who have supervised PhD students, congratulations to each of you. That's fantastic achievement. I'm now pleased to introduce the Dean of the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences, Professor Dani Vermeulen, who will present the candidates from his faculty.
I'm just going to twist this a bit.
Acting Chancellor, I have the privilege of requesting you to award the following qualifications to the candidates that are introduced to you. The Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences, bachelor degrees, postgraduate diplomas, honors degrees, masters, and doctoral degrees. Bachelor of Agriculture. Finger KN. Adebe NA. Masangu NN. The Chancellor of Bachelor of Agriculture, majoring in agricultural economics. Manganyela SM. Chancellor, a Bachelor of Agriculture, majoring in Agricultural Management. Hama NV. Libber J. Maeno T. Makoba MM. Makwenkwe A. Mbete T. Mellow MK. Nkayana SL. Sebaku CM. Sabisi MTP. Well done. Chancellor, Bachelor of Agriculture, majoring in Crop Production Management. Easton J.A. Lamula NZN. A Bachelor of Agriculture, majoring in Mixed Farming Management. Engelbrecht R. Himon N.J.B. Moletsane M. Tau PC. Venter M. Chancellor, a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, majoring in Plant Pathology. Kutsie E. A Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, majoring in Soil Science with Plant Pathology. Setabella KM. Acting Chancellor, we will now do the Building Sciences. Bachelor of Science in Quantity Surveying. Lombard C. Now the Natural Sciences, a Bachelor of Computer Information Systems. Bayet R.T. Davids P.N. Maema N. Mokobane KMD. Sehlaku KA. A Bachelor of Science. Bodenstein C. Acting Chancellor, a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, majoring in Computer Science and Business Management. Kachiwe C. Matlore T. Mukwena TL. Mpatane KT. Sikwambana N. Chancellor, a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, majoring in Computer Science and Chemistry. Ntele S. A Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, majoring in Computer Science and Management. Dlamini M. Madondo LP. Acting Chancellor, a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, majoring in Computer Science and Mathematics. Motsamaye LT. A Bachelor of Science majoring in Behavioral Genetics. Let's see if I've got this right. Liquele T. Liquele, I'm sorry. Titeku R. Maseku T. A Bachelor of Science majoring in Biochemistry and Food Science. Mojapelo KF. Chancellor, a Bachelor of Science majoring in Biochemistry and Physiology. Nekudziga R.A. A Bachelor of Science majoring in Biological Sciences. April T.M. Carlson N. Maseshla M.K. Also a Bachelor of Science majoring in Botany and Genetics. Maria F. Seer. Ramoko M.C. A Bachelor of Science majoring in Botany and Zoology. Motshegwa G.S. A Bachelor of Science majoring in Chemistry and Physics. Shangwe S.A. She's also a Bachelor of Science majoring in Econometrics. Chikosho A.E.T. Sorry. Dube N.S. She's also a Bachelor of Science majoring in Forensic Science. Mashamba M. Nkaba L.L. Shakwane K.M.H. Shiba S.S. Also a Bachelor of Science majoring in Genetics and Microbiology. Maria Seer. Mkwena J. A Bachelor of Science majoring in Genetics and Physiology. Kumere N.N. Mabasu N.N. Mslonyane N.E. Nkuna M.F. Shannon R. Also a Bachelor of Science majoring in Genetics and Zoology. Bosman P.A. A Bachelor of Science majoring in Geography. Mahokwana B.M. A Bachelor of Science majoring in Geography and Environmental Science. Hoho L. Molava KM. Molele King MK. Mpale TM. Yakani Azet. Chancellor, a Bachelor of Science majoring in Geography and Tourism. Nyoka SXB. A Bachelor of Science majoring in Life Science. Motaung PP. Chancellor, a Bachelor of Science majoring in Mathematics and Applied Mathematics. Sapisa V. A Bachelor of Science majoring in Physics and Astrophysics. Letsele T. Chancellor, a Bachelor of Science majoring in Statistics and Economics. Matoti A. Chotetsi TH. A Bachelor of Science majoring in Statistics and Psychology. Jali SG. We now look at honours degrees. A Bachelor of Agriculture honours majoring in Animal Production Management. Nemayembeni MJ. Also a Bachelor of Science honours in Agriculture, majoring in Soil Science. Botswana N. A Bachelor of Science honours, majoring in Entomology. Chabalala P. Also a Bachelor of Science honours majoring in Geohydrology. Pasha M.M. Also a Bachelor of Science honours majoring in Applied Statistics. Molefe B. A Bachelor of Science honours majoring in Computer Science and Informatics. Dianti T. It's also a Bachelor of Computer Information Systems Honours. Samembere DST. Chepe TE. Chancellor, we now go over to the master's degrees. We start with Agricultural Sciences, Master of Disaster Management. Sislo PE. A Master of Environmental Management. Keninza HW. A Mamabolo KMF. Mpafuri LA. Also a Master of Science majoring in Agricultural Economics. Monteiro MA. Well done, Marcus. Okoli CC and a degree of distinction. A Master of Science majoring in Soil Sciences. Basi LE. Also a Master of Science majoring in Soil Sciences, interdisciplinary. Maluleke S. A Master of Science majoring in Wildlife. Van Rooyen K. A Master of Sustainable Agriculture. Kunene HP. Marche DS. Chancellor, master degrees in Building Sciences. So Master of Urban and Regional Planning. Mini Stephanus and a degree of distinction. In the Natural Sciences, Master of Science in Nanoscience. Gawe SY. A Master of Science majoring in Applied Statistics. Talanyane MS. It's not on here. Is it captured wrongly? And a degree of distinction. It's not on here. Master of Science majoring in botany. Global H and a degree of distinction. Blignout year and a degree of distinction. That should have been chemistry. That should have been a master in chemistry. That was supposed to be a master in chemistry. Bosman, AL, and also the degree of distinction. Nzadzaba NN. Swart G and a degree of distinction. Chancellor, I've always said chemistry can't be that difficult, so that's why all the distinctions. A Master of Science majoring in computer science. Is it computer? Consumer. Apologies, consumer science. Maslanza ZP. A Master of Science majoring in Environmental Geography. Nkube Z. Also a Master of Science majoring in Environmental Management. Sabukulu Peep S and a degree of distinction. A Master of Science majoring in Forensic Genetics. Sitole NC. A Master of Science majoring in Genetics. Strauss D. A Master of Science majoring in Geography. Mukwevu R. Master of Science majoring in Geohydrology. Jordan L. Weer and a degree of distinction. Coco H.J. Madanda T. Mafika M.I. Well done, Mko. A Master of Science majoring in Zoology. Lewis C. and a degree of distinction. Van der Merwe R. and also the degree of distinction. Acting Chancellor, I have the privilege of requesting you to confer doctoral degrees on the candidates presented to you. I request the promoters to introduce the candidates to you. The first one is Doctor of Philosophy.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, it gives me pleasure and it's a privilege to introduce as a PhD candidate, Molomo Karabo Peter in Sustainable Agriculture. With a thesis titled Factors Influencing the Commercialization of Emerging Dairy Farmers in South Africa, a case study of the Free State Province. Promoter, Professor Sibanga, co-promoter, Dr. J. van der Westhuizen. Chancellor, allow me to introduce you to the doctorandus, Molomo Peter Karabo. With his thesis titled Factors Influencing the Commercialization of Emerging Dairy Farmers in South Africa, a case study of the Free State Province, the candidate contributes to new knowledge which will assist in developing sound strategies for commercialization emerging dairy farmers in South Africa. Multiple cases of emerging dairy farmers farming under diverse conditions provided a deep insight into the lived experiences of a typical emerging dairy farmer. Another perspective of these dairy farmers' situation was obtained from dairy specialists from the industry who works with these dairy farmers. The study identified the main constraints impacting the commercialization of emerging dairy farmers in the Free State Province as lack of access to financial support, market limitations, lack of infrastructure, low milk prices, and lack of appropriate management skills. Good prospects for commercialization of these farmers were, however, highlighted by the study. It was found that provided they are correctly implemented, dairy business hub models can pave the way for achieving such commercialization. Chancellor, I present to you Molomo Karabo Peter.
This is your first one ever, right? Correct. Doctor of Philosophy in Architecture with specialization in design. Chancellor, this is our first ever PhD in this degree. It's a new degree. Yeah.
Doctor of Philosophy, candidate Heather Dodd. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you her thesis with a thesis titled Small Moves, Spatial Tactics for Transformation. Promoter, Professor Jonathan Noble. With her thesis, Small Moves, Spatial Tactics for Transformation, the candidate makes a contribution to an architectural spatial practice embedded within the specific challenges of the post-apartheid city through the work of Savage and Dodd architects. With this contribution, she attempts to identify a tactical practice of small moves, implying a series of spatial tactics used to adapt and transform buildings and thus the urban fabric in pursuit of a practice of spatial transformation. The outcomes of this investigation illustrate a mode of practice that enables a flexible, adaptable, and tactical approach to architectural design, and specifically housing and inner-city hybrid prototypes of value in resolving an ongoing engagement with spatial transformation in the post-apartheid city. Chancellor, I present to you Heather Dodd.
Philip. Chancellor, Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in Agricultural Economics.
Vice-Chancellor, please allow me to introduce to you Philippus Lodewicus Oosthuizen. With his thesis titled The Effect of Growth Promoters on Beef Profitability, Quality and Consumer Preferences, a Value Chain Approach. Promoter Prof. F.R. Maria and a co-promoter Prof. P.E. Strydom. With his thesis, the candidate makes a contribution to the red meat value chain by addressing profitability and beef quality. The candidate quantified the impact of growth promoters on the cattle feedlot industry's profitability and found that growth promoters increase feedlot profitability but decrease beef quality. A unique sensory beef quality quantification methodology from Australia was adopted and reconfigured for the South African consumer market. A decision support framework was compiled to recommend growth promoter strategies to enhance financial feasibility throughout the value chain, which includes the feedlot, the abattoir, as well as consumers. The candidate found that better than everyday quality beef can be produced by using less growth promoters, and that consumers are willing to pay a premium which can compensate for the decreased feedlot financial margin. Mr. Chancellor, with your permission, I have to add, if you are proud of a degree, then you celebrate it the next day with your own wedding. May I present to you Dr. Philip Oosthuizen.
Chancellor, a Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in Chemistry.
Chancellor, Mogale Rafiwe, with a thesis titled Aluminum and Zirconium-Based Metal Organic Frameworks with azobenzene and stilbene diboxylate ligands for the use in wastewater treatment. Promoter, Dr. E.H.G. Langner. Chancellor, allow me to introduce you the Doctoranda Mogale Rafiwe, with a thesis titled Aluminium Zirconium-Based Metal Organic Frameworks with azobenzene and stilbene diboxylate ligands for the use in wastewater treatment. The candidate contributes in the field of metal organic frameworks and the potential usage in industrial wastewater treatment. The research systematically investigated three main properties of these framework materials when used as absorbents in wastewater treatment, resulting in 3 published journal articles. She found that these metal organic frameworks containing photoresponsive moieties are highly efficient and reusable materials for dye waste absorption. She demonstrated that nitrogen functionalization of the metal organic framework structure influenced the framework's physical properties and the pollutant absorption capacity. Lastly, she showed how tuning the metal organic framework's pore size with different sized organic ligands affects absorption capacity with large pore sizes, having a highly absorption capacity. Chancellor, I present to you Mogale Rafiwe. Morewa Zanele Gift, with the thesis titled Water-Soluble Rhodium-1 Model Catalysts, promoter Professor A. Brink, co-promoter Professor A. Root. Chancellor, allow me to introduce you to the Doctoranda Morewa Zanele Gift. With her thesis Water-Soluble Rhodium-1 Model Catalysts, the candidate makes an important contribution to the knowledge base for the development of water-soluble rhodium complexes in the industrial specialization of homogeneous catalysis. This is imperative for the potential development of future agents, which focuses on green practices for environmentally friendly industrial processes. A range of novel organometallic compounds with synthesized and characterized by various techniques, including single crystal X-ray diffraction and NMR spectroscopy. A kinetic study based in halogenated and alcohol solvents as well as in water was investigated and indicated an excellent correlation to establish the intimate reaction mechanism of the oxidative addition process which takes place in water. Chancellor, I present to you Morewe Zanele Gift. Mputi Lehlolonolo Ernest in chemistry, with a thesis titled Synthesis, Characterization and Metal Exchange of ZIF-8 and ZIF-67 nanoparticles for catalytic applications. Promoter, Dr. E.H.G. Langner. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you the Doctorandus Mputi Lehlololono Ernest, with his thesis titled Synthesis, Characterization and Metal Exchange of ZIF-8 and ZIF-67 nanoparticles for catalytic application. The candidate contributes to the development of nano-sized biometallic metal-organic frameworks, catalysts for various catalytic applications, including carbon dioxide reduction. The candidate effectively synthesized nano-sized ZIF-8 and ZIF-67 crystallites, isothermally in either water or methanol under ambient conditions. The metal centers of these materials were partially exchanged with iron-2, titanium-4, manganese-2, or nickel-2 to form microporous bimetallic ZIFs, leading to the enhancement of the material's catalytic activity. This was achieved without altering the structural integrity, topology, and the metal oxidation state of the parent ZIFs. Compared to the parent ZIFs, the metal exchange ZIFs significantly demonstrated higher catalytic efficiency in all applications. Moreover, these catalysts are stable and can be regenerated and reused without substantial loss in catalytic activity. 2 papers have already been published from this study. Chancellor, I present to you Mputi Lehlolonolo Ernest.
Chancellor, I think Professor Brink deserves a bonus for reading 3 PhDs. A Doctor of Philosophy majoring in Consumer Science.
Vice Chancellor, Doctor of Philosophy, Tobekile Mafu, with a thesis titled The Relationship Between Food Insecure Households and the Prevalence of Acute Malnutrition in Children Residing in the Informal Urban Settlement of Gampu Village, South Africa. Promoter, Dr. Natasha Cronje, co-promoters, Dr. Ismarie van der Merwe and Prof. Wilna Oldewagetron. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you Dr. Randa Tobekile Mafu. With her thesis, The Relationship Between Food Insecure Household and the Prevalence of Acute Malnutrition in Children Residing in the Informal Settlement of Gampu Village, South Africa, the candidate makes a contribution to the existing body of knowledge concerning food insecure household and its impact on children. Using a quantitative approach, 500 households participated in the survey, in addition to secondary anthropometric data from 6 clinics in Gampu Village. The results highlighted the reliance of food insecure households on social grants as their main source of income, poor household dietary diversity with regard to food, and a propensity for children to be overweight or obese. With this contribution, she developed guidelines for possible future intervention programs to address these challenges, attempting to reduce household food insecurity in her community. Chancellor, I present to you Tobekile Mafu. Dankie, Prof.
Chancellor, Doctor of Philosophy majoring in Environmental Management.
Thank you.
Doctor in Philosophy, PhD, Tanola Beatrix Omaneke. Councillor, I present to you a thesis. Atipete and bentonite assisted phytoremediation on heavy metals, polluted soils and water, case study of post-mining area in the Free State Province, South Africa. Promoter Professor Oladi, co-promoter Dr. Twala, and co-promoter Dr. Agakowai. Council, allow me to introduce you to the doctorate, Utunala Beatrix Omaneke, with a thesis titled Atipate and bentonite assisted phytoremediation of heavy metal polluted soils and water, a case study of a post-mining area in the Free State Province, South Africa. The candidate contributes to the scholarship on the quest for sustainable solutions to environmental problems and remediation of polluted soil and water. The study combined atipate and bentonite with vetiver grass or Indian mustard plants for the remediation of polluted soil and water from Sasol mining area of the Free State Province, South Africa. The results show that the apatite and combined with vetiver grass is most suitable for heavy metal polluted soils, while bentonite combined with vetiver grass is best for heavy metal contaminated water. Beatrix showed that apatite added at 2.5 weight per weight improved the phytostabilization properties of the vetiver for chromium, cobalt, copper, and zinc in soil, and that bentonite added at 2.5 weight per volume was the best for aluminium manganese removal in contaminated water. Council, I present to you Utunola Beatrix Omaneke. Councillor, I present to you PhD Yolandi Skuman, Environmental Management, with a thesis titled A Zero Waste Multi-Criteria Decision Support Model for the Iron and Steel Industry in Developing Countries of Southern Africa. Promoter is Professor Oberholster and co-promoter Professor Vernon Somerset. Council, allow me to introduce to you the doctorate Yolandi Skuman, with a thesis A Zero Waste Multi-Criteria Decision Support Model for the Iron and Steel Industry in Developing Countries in Southern Africa. The candidate contributes to the understanding of the manufacturing waste and eliminating unnecessary waste creation at the initial phases of iron and steel production through green production and system engineering principles. The results of this investigation include the alternative approach as industrial zero waste tier analysis model is IWATA, a managing iron and steel waste that's not only addressing environmental contamination but also limited the impact on human health and unlocking value in the iron and steel waste that can contribute to a triple bottom line of iron and steel manufacturing facilities. The investigation demonstrates that iron and steel waste can be identified, visualized, prioritized, and managed to promote zero waste by applying a hybrid system engineering approach. Council, I present to you Yolandi Skuman. Thank you very much. Chancellor, a Doctor of Philosophy majoring in Forensic Genetics.
Chancellor, it's a great privilege today for me to introduce you to our PhD candidate, Dr. Anton Lucassen, for his doctor's degree of philosophy in forensic genetics, with a thesis title, Investigation of Allele Frequencies and DNA Mixtures in a Forensic Environment in South Africa. The promoter is Dr. Karen Ehlers and the co-promoter is Professor Paul Grobler. Now, Chancellor, allow me to introduce you Anton Lucassen. with his thesis titled Allele Frequencies and DNA Mixtures in the Human Forensic Environment in South Africa. The candidate established an allele frequency database for criminal cases in South Africa. The combined probability of inclusion method and DNA view mixture solution, a fully continuous probabilistic method, were compared to interpret low template DNA mixtures. Further, a protocol for the implementation of the probabilistic genotyping method for the interpretation of mixtures at the Forensic Science Laboratory of the South African Police Service was presented. The protocol will guide the laboratory and ensure a smooth, rapid, and accountable implementation of the new method. The probabilistic software will assist in analyzing complex low-template DNA mixtures, which will finalize mixture phases and reduce the backlog in the analysis of DNA cases. Now, Chancellor, I present to you Colonel Anton Lucassen.
Chancellor, Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in genetics.
The candidate is Akelono Conrad Chibuna, with a thesis titled Alternaria alternata associated with black spot disease on pecans or Carria alionensis in South Africa. Promoter Dr. Marika Grijzenhout, co-promoter Dr. Maree, and other co-promoter Dr. Eskosh. Chancellor, allow me to introduce you to the doctorandus, Akelono Conrad Chibuna. With his thesis, Alternaria alternata associated with black spot disease on pecans or Carria alionensis in South Africa, the candidate appraised occurrence and risk of Alternaria black spot, or ABS, a disease caused by Alternaria alternata on pecans in South Africa. The outcome of this study established that ABS disease on pecans is caused by the important and cosmopolitan fungus Alternaria alternata. In addition, the candidate gathered knowledge on the exact distribution of the pathogen in South Africa and unraveled its population structure to ultimately facilitate disease management practices, which is crucial for the development of a disease control plan. Fungicides and pecan plant extracts also proved useful in controlling the pathogen. His study provided a strong foundation on which further studies on the ecology, disease-causing ability, and antifungal applications can develop towards an integrated pathogen management program by the South African pecan industry. Chancellor, I present to you Akelono Conrad Chibuna.
Chancellor, a Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in geohydrology.
Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Budeli Chandugu, with a thesis titled Modeling the Upflow of Leakage from Carbon Dioxide Repository in Saline Aquifer along Fracture Rock Media. Promoter, Professor Abdon Atangana. Chancellor, allow me to introduce you to Doctorant Budeli Chandugo with her thesis modeling the upflow of leakage from carbon dioxide repository in saline aquifer along fracture rock media. The candidate contribute to the simulation of fracture conduct, free-phase CO2 leakage, brine leakage, multi-phase CO2 and brine leakage, multi-phase multitudinous CO2 and brine leakage, and simulation in the context of geologic CO2 storage by attaining the effect of fracture morphology, non-locality, and memory on leakage flow. Fluid flow model were improved by the application of the random walk, fractional and fractal fractional differentiation. More accurate and prediction numerical simulation were obtained. The study confirmed how come the improved model can be applied to address leakage or possible groundwater contaminant from subsurface dispository. Chancellor, I would like to say she's a machine. She has 15 chapters in a book that is going to be published in Springer. In addition to that, she has 5 papers that are submitted to Elsevier. I think she got the doctorate degree with distinction. Chancellor, I present to you Bodeli Chandugo. Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Morokaladi Makosha Ismailin Charlotte, with a thesis title, Piecewise and Stochastic Approach to Modeling a Conversion of Flow from Confined to Unconfined Aquifer. Promoter, Professor Abdon Atangana. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you Murakaladi Makosha Ismailin Charlotte, with her thesis Piecewise and Stochastic Approach to Modeling a Conversion of Flow from Confined to Unconfined. The candidate improved the existing model that depicts the conversion of flow from confined to confined aquifer. The solution that depicts such behavior is developed upon the conception of rate of change. Moreover, the model is based upon the aquifer setting. This kind of mathematical model cannot be used for accurate prediction. Thus, in her work, the candidate developed a new model that considers groundwater movement in a heterogeneous system. The concept of non-local operator was employed to include into the mathematical model process such as power law, fading memory, crossover behavior, to make use of piecewise and stochastic approach. The result of this study from simulation obtained depict crossover behavior from fast to a slow decline in the level of water. Long-tail behavior, lastly, a rise of water due to recharge or water crab release to the force, including abstraction. Chancellor, she published 5 papers. Chancellor, I present to you Murakaladi Makosha Ismailin Charlotte.
Congratulations.
Acting Chancellor, Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in agrometeorology.
Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Taraga Punduzo Charles. With his thesis, Quantifying Water Use and Productivity of Rainfed Switcheries, Furnace Avium, orchards in the Eastern Free State of South Africa using micrometeorological measurements. Promoter, Walter Michael Tasfunay, co-promoter, Dr. Kotze and Prof. Michael Savage. Chancellor, allow me to introduce Charles Taraga. With his thesis titled Quantifying Water Use and Productivity of Rainfed Switchery, Purnas Avium Orchards in the Eastern Free State of South Africa using micrometeorological techniques, the candidates quantified the water use of switchery trees under rain-fed conditions using eddy covariance and stem subflow measurements. The candidate contributes to the knowledge of switchery trees, water requirements of specific growth stages. The candidate also established the basal crop coefficient, KCB, and stress coefficient factor, KS, for switcheries under rain-fed conditions. In the study, the diurnal patterns of carbon dioxide flux density, evaporation, gross primary production, and ecosystem water use efficiency were determined. As the country, South Africa, often faces water scarcity and an evident increase in switchery production, it is crucial to raise the knowledge and understanding of trees' water consumption to enhance water use efficiency. Therefore, based on the study's findings, producers or farmers need to take precautions during the beginning of flowering and fruit development to reduce vulnerability to water stress. Part of this study has been presented in local and international conferences, and 2 papers have been published. Chancellor, I present Dr. Charles Taraga. Thank you.
Acting Chancellor, Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in microbiology.
Chancellor, I present to you the PhD candidate, Elke Coetzee, with her thesis titled Investigation into the Presence of HP2-like and Mu-like prophages within the genomes of the most prevalent serovars of Avibacterium palligarinarum in South Africa, under the promotorship of Professor Bragg and co-promotorship of Dr. C.E. Boucher. Chancellor, allow me to introduce the Doctoranda Elke Coetzee with her thesis, Investigation into the Presence of HP2-like and Mu-like prophages within the genomes of the most prevalent serovars of Avibacterium palligarinarum. The candidate investigated the virulence of different serovars of Avibacterium, and she screened the genomes of these serovars, and she found bacteriophage genetic material using modern molecular techniques. She found a complete HP2-like and a Mu-like prophage, and she discovered within the different serovars. She made a significant contribution to the understanding of the virulence of the important bacterial pathogens, and she contributed to a book chapter, and she presented her work at various national and international conferences. Colleagues, family, and friends, Chancellor, it's an absolute pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Elke Coetzee.
Mokoena Tabiseng Zelda. with a thesis titled The Influence of Polyunsaturated Fatty Acids on Candida albicans and Pseudomonas aeruginosa Infections of Chiarnohabitus elegans. Promoter, Prof. Carlien Pool-Albertijn, co-promoter, Prof. Jacobus Albertijn. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you Dr. Randa Mokoena Tabiseng Zelda, with a thesis, The Influence of Polyunsaturated Fatty Acids on Candida albicans and Pseudomonas aeruginosa Infections of C. elegans. The candidate contributes to the knowledge regarding the effect of polyunsaturated fatty acids, especially icosapentaenoic acid, in the response of the non-vertebrate host, the nematode C. elegans, to infection. She found that icosapentaenoic acid primes the host immune system to Candida albicans. In addition, the host can convert this fatty acid to an oxidized metabolite via cytochrome P450 enzymes. This metabolite is able to inhibit the formation of tissue-penetrative hyphae by Candida albicans, both in vitro and in vivo. Since humans also are able to produce 17-18 icosapentaenoic acid, this work may contribute to the search for novel compounds that can inhibit the pathogenicity of Candida albicans in human hosts. The candidate has already published one paper from a thesis, with another one underway. So, Chancellor, I present to you Dr. Tabiseng Zelda Mokoena.
Acting Chancellor, Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in plant breeding.
Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Matongera Nakai, with a thesis titled Genetic Improvement of Zinc Content in Grain in Normal, Provitamin A and Quality Protein Maize. Promoter Professor Lawaskachny, co-promoters Dr. Van Biljon and Ndlela. Chancellor, allow me to introduce you to Dr. Randa Nakai Matongera. With her thesis, Genetic Improvement of Zinc Content in Grain of Normal, Provitamin A and Quality A Protein Maize, the candidate developed multi-nutrient biofortified maize through the introduction of genes for increased zinc concentration into 3 groups of maize genotypes. These were maize already biofortified with essential amino acids lysine and tryptophan, QPM, orange maize with high levels of provitamin A, and normal non-biofortified maize. Hybrids were tested for yield potential and stability and nutritional value under optimal and abiotic stress conditions, and iron and zinc content were highly correlated, and sufficient variability for the anti-nutrient phytic acid was available to select for improved bioavailability of these minerals. High zinc levels led to a moderate yield penalty, which should be addressed by breeders. The QPM background accumulated high levels of zinc than other backgrounds. Results from this study will contribute towards alleviating malnutrition in the Southern African region. Chancellor, I present to you Dr. Matongera Nakai.
Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Sengwayo Spamandla, with thesis titled Genetic Improvement of Drought-Tolerant Maize Hybrids under a Combination of Biotic and Abiotic Stress Conditions. Promoter, Dr. R. van der Merwe, co-promoter, Prof. M.T. Lawaskachny. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you Dr. Anders Sengwayo Spamandla. With his thesis titled Genetic Improvement of Drought-Tolerant Maize Hybrids under a Combination of Biotic and Abiotic Stress Conditions, the candidate evaluated grain yield performance of currently available drought-tolerant, early maturing maize hybrids under optimal managed drought stress, random stress, low nitrogen stress, and maize streak virus conditions in order to identify multiple stress-tolerant hybrids for future use by smallholder farmers. This is in the Eastern and Southern Africa. Grain yield data on 44 pre-commercial hybrids were collected across 5 different stress management conditions in 28 test locations. Using various statistical analyses, specific hybrids with above average grain yield and stability for each of these 5 stress management conditions were identified. One hybrid was identified as a multiple stress tolerant hybrid. 5 locations were identified as the most discriminative and representative environments and should be considered as ideal sites for selecting hybrids with improved grain yields under different biotic and abiotic stress conditions. Chancellor, I present to you Dr. Sengwaya Spamandla.
Acting Chancellor, Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in plant pathology.
Thank you. I am honored to present to you today Marlies Meyering with a thesis titled Sclerotinia sclerotiorum, Disease Potential and Management Responses in Soybean and Sunflower, with the promoter Dr. Lisa Rothman and Professor Neil McLaren. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you Dr. Randa Marlies Meyering with her thesis, Sclerotinia sclerotiorum, Disease Potential and Management Responses in Soybean and Sunflower. The candidate contributes to understanding management practices associated with Sclerotinia head and stem rot. Using a bibliographical analysis approach, she explored the most frequently researched management practices and identified future research opportunities within the Sclerotinia research community. Through multi-season and locality field trials, producers were provided with information on the escape resistance of soybean and sunflower cultivars. The efficiency of several diverse fungicides were investigated during field experiments, illustrating the potential to register these active ingredients to use against soybean stem rot. Furthermore, the use of both stubble burning and cattle grazing on reducing the viability of sclerotial population and ultimately reducing the disease potential for future seasons was determined. The research directly serves the South African producer community as well as the plant health inquiries and engages the needs of the oilseed and protein crop industry. Chancellor, I present to you Dr. Marlies Meyering.
Chancellor, Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in sustainable agriculture.
Mr. Chancellor, Doctor of Philosophy in Sustainable Agriculture, Ndangase Zamakweke Maureen, with a thesis titled Sustainable Commercialization of Goat Production in the Zululand Area of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. Promoter, Prof. Johan van Niekerk, co-promoter, Dr. M.M. Skwela. Chancellor, allow me to introduce you to Dr. Randa Ntshangase Zamakwene Maureen. With a thesis titled Sustainable Commercialization of Goat Production in the Zululand Area of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, the candidate contributes to scholarship on policies related to government support programs on goat farming and integration of all role players to achieve commercialization and realize the social and economic value of goats, thereby contributing to food security, poverty alleviation, and economic development. Ntshangase sampled 170 respondents, including goat farmers, customers, extension officers, and retail butcheries to understand the production, marketing, and demand for goat products and government support to farmers. Among the challenges faced by goat producers, the lack of access to abattoirs and the butcheries that are willing to slaughter and sell goat meat are at the top of the list. On the other hand, the findings suggest that if goat meat is made available in retail stores, consumers are more inclined to buy it. The study presents the argument that poor goat marketing structure, culture, lack of information on goats' nutritional attributes and perceptions affects the commercialization of goat production regardless of its economic potential. Chancellor, I present to you Dr. Zamakweke Maureen Mtangase.
Acting Chancellor, a Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in Urban and Regional Planning.
Thank you. It is with great pleasure that I introduce you to Thomas Eric Seki-Amper with his degree, with a thesis titled Towards Sustainable and Transformative Spatial Governance System for Municipalities with Traditional Leaders, a case study of the Alfred and Zoe District Municipality in the Eastern Cape, and I was the promoter, Werner Nell. With his thesis towards the sustainable and transformative spatial governance system, the candidate examined the potential for inclusive and sustainable spatial governance in the district, a poor area. Interviews were conducted with municipal officials, traditional leaders, and local businesses and planners knowledgeable about the region. Although the traditional leaders are suspicious of the Spatial Planning and Land Use Management Act, which governs spatial governance in the area, there is sufficient goodwill for cooperation with local governments. While the necessary plans and policies are in place in the local governments, the main obstacles to spatial governance are the constraints experienced by the municipalities, such as staff, finances, and a very unstable political situation. Addressing these constraints and including the traditional leaders in the spatial planning and land use management processes will improve the area's sustainability. Chancellor, I present to you Thomas Eric Seki-Amper.
Chancellor, a Doctor of Philosophy, majoring in Zoology. Chancellor, on behalf of the promoter, Professor Alicia Leroux, I introduce to you the Doctorandus Alexander Edward Botha with his thesis titled Black-backed Jackal, Ecology in the Eastern Free State, Afro-Montane Grasslands, with specific reference to diet and behavior. The candidate contributes towards an improved understanding of mesopredator ecology in focusing on the impact of multiple environmental conditions and human pressures on black-backed jackal diet, behavior, and control. His findings highlight the application of isotopic analysis in dietary investigations in mesopredators and suggest that jackal diet varies between seasons and along a human pressure gradient. His findings also highlight inter-individual variation in movement that is further influenced by fluctuating environmental conditions, including moon phase, season, and human pressure. Furthermore, his findings reiterate the significant impact of lethal control on the environmental perceptions of jackals. His research provides novel techniques to study mesopredators and provides previously undocumented information that can be incorporated into agricultural and wildlife management practices. Chancellor, I present to you Alexander Edward Botha.
Doctor of Philosophy, Butler Hendrikus Johannes Bierkes, with a thesis titled Behavioral Aspects of Enzootic Geophagy Amongst Large Mammal Herbivores. Promoter, Prof. D. Codron. Co-promoter, Prof. W.A. van der Westhuizen. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you Dr. Anders Butler Hendrikus Johannes Bierkes. With his thesis, the candidate contributes towards our understanding of geophagy, the deliberate ingestion of soil. He determined the physical, chemical, and mineralogical properties of ingested soils in habitats ranging from the southern Kalahari to the high-veld savanna. He then explored spatial and temporal variations in soil utilization by a variety of species, recording visitation rates to geophagic sites, activity times, and sex differences. Finally, based on analysis of the soil content and geochemical properties of animal dung, he demonstrated that 1, herbivores are able to assimilate minerals from ingested soils, and 2, parasitic egg loads are reduced through geophagy. These findings demonstrate that soil ingestion proffers benefits to herbivores that outweigh costs such as tooth wear and gut impaction, creating new opportunities for understanding macroevolutionary trends in herbivore tooth and gut morphology and their ecological interactions with the environment. He also included a PCA. Chancellor, I present to you Butler Hendrikus Johannes Bierkes, Doctor.
Chancellor, it's my privilege and pleasure to introduce to you Pieter Johannes Swanepoel, with a thesis entitled Assessing Small-Scale Fisheries Potential in Gariep Dam, South Africa's largest impoundment. Promoter Dr. L. Barkhuizen, co-promoter Prof. L. van As, co-promoter Dr. Bruce Allender. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you Dr. Anders Pieter Johannes Swanepoel. With his thesis, Assessing Small-Scale Fisheries Potential of Gariep Dam, South Africa's largest impoundment, the candidate contributes towards the development of inland fisheries in South Africa in light of a recent approval of a national freshwater inland wild capture fisheries policy. Using a multifaceted approach, subsistence and recreational fisheries at Gariep Dam were quantified and described. The relative abundance, population structure, biology, and ecology of potential fishery species, especially with a focus on the sharp-toothed catfish, were investigated in order to set sustainable harvesting levels for the fisheries species at Gariep Dam. The effectiveness and suitability of different gear types for use in inland fisheries were investigated, while economic models were proposed and tested to ensure the economic viability of small-scale fisheries. The study concluded with the development of a detailed small-scale fisheries management plan for Gariep Dam, a first for an impoundment in the Orange Vaal River system. Chancellor, I present to you Dr. Pieter Johannes Swanepoel.
Congratulations, Professor Vermeulen, on these fantastic candidates. The PhD candidates certainly made us sit for a while. Congratulations to all of those PhDs. It's really fantastic work. I'm now pleased to introduce Professor Jan Albert van den Berg from the Faculty of Theology and Religion, who will present his candidates. And colleagues, don't worry, we're racing to an end.
Acting Chancellor,
I have the privilege of requesting you to award the following qualifications to the candidates that I introduce to you. The Faculty of Theology and Religion, certificates, bachelor's degrees, advanced diplomas, honours degrees, master's and doctoral degrees. High certificate in theology. Lebushu, BP. Bachelor of Divinity. Geland, AC. Kulu, TZ. Advanced Diploma in Theology. Duma, MJ. Takang, TR, and the qualification with distinction. Bachelor of Theology, honours with a specialisation in religion studies. Motuhang, SP, and obtained the degree with distinction. Master of Art in Bible Translation. Diraditsile, PV. Lefebu, MH. Acting Chancellor, I have the privilege of requesting you to confer a doctoral degree to the following candidate presented to you. Doctor of Theology with specialization in spirituality. Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Van Wyk, Karel Petrus, with a thesis titled Die migrasie van tradisionele godsdienstbeoefening na spiritualiteit, bedieningspraktyk aan postkerklikes, Promotor, Professor J.A. van der Berg. Chancellor, allow me to introduce to you Dr. Rondus van Wyk Karel Petrus. With his thesis, Die migrasie van tradisionele godsdienstbeoefening na spiritualiteit, bedieningspraktyke aan postkerklikes, the migration from traditional religious practice to spirituality, ministries to post-ecclesiastics, the candidate indicates that mainline Christian churches in the Western world experience a decline in membership numbers and attendance of public worship services. In a world where globalization, postmodernism, secularization, and the Fourth Industrial Revolution excessively influence people, alienation from themselves, their fellow human beings, and the deity occurs. Simultaneously, however, there is a growth and interest in the concept of spirituality, especially among the millennial and Generation Z generations. The study design was conducted from a practical theological orientation, engaging with and reflecting on important new empirical research perspectives from different contexts. The thesis is an attempt to revisit Christian spirituality, mysticism, and spiritual disciplines, and to suggest possible ministries for post-ecclesiastics. The thesis wants to offer direction to searching people in disruptive times and to suggest possible ministries to church leaders. Chancellor, I present to you van Wyk Karel Petrus.
Thank you very much, Professor van der Berg. We've come to the congratulatory message, which will be delivered by Mr. Rayland Fisher this afternoon. Mr. Fisher has more than 40 years of experience as an editor, journalist, columnist, author, and media executive. In the 1980s, he was one of the pioneers of community journalism in South Africa. Mr. Fisher has served 2 terms on the Council of the University of the Free State, ensuring governance of our institution. Mr. Fisher, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Utan, and thank you, Vice Chancellor and Acting Chancellor, for inviting me today. I know it's been a long afternoon and I know everybody's tired. I actually prepared a speech, but I'm going to cut a lot of it out, and I'll give it to Lasia to maybe put onto the website for people who are interested in reading it. But let me start by welcoming the most important people here today, the students who are graduating and their loved ones. It's such a wonderful feeling to share this special day with you. Congratulations to everyone. For most of you, today represents the reward of the 3 or 4 years of hard work where you often had to forgo the pleasure of being young in order to concentrate on your studies. And you have achieved this at a time when our country is going through all kinds of turmoil, not least still recovering from a pandemic that crippled our economy and defined a new reality for many of us. We will never be able to forget the lockdowns, wearing masks in public, and keeping social distances. We will never forget not being allowed to visit family and friends, but we have survived. I wanted to share a few lessons from my life based on just two of my experiences, growing up in Hanover Park and the Cape Flats, and working at the anti-apartheid community newspaper Grassroots in the early 1980s. But I think if I go into that, it will take a bit long. So, like I said, I will ask him just to put it on the website. But I learned so much from the people in Hanover Park. Hanover Park is probably one of the poorest and one of the most depressing areas to live in. When I drive through the area now, hundreds, if not thousands, of able-bodied young men standing on corners. Basically, some of them have matriculated, but they've given up all hope of finding jobs or actually finding people who could pay for them to go to university. And so that's the community where I grew up, and I learned so much. I learned from the gangsters in Hanover Park, and I suppose that's one of the reasons why I never became a gangster myself. I could run very, very fast when I was young, and part of it was because I always had to run away from the gangsters. I learned from the aunties and the uncles in our communities who worked very hard to give their children better lives. I realized that all of us, no matter our backgrounds and our perceived differences in terms of culture, religion, etc., we all want the same for our children. We want to give our children the best opportunities in life. We want to give them the best possible house. We want to give them the best education, etc. And so the people of Hanover Park are no different in that respect to the people of, posh areas. They also want the best for their children. So I learned a lot from them. And I learned a lot from people that I engaged with in organizations that I was involved in. I was an executive member of the Cape Youth Congress. I was involved, like I said, in Grassroots. I was involved in the formation of the United Democratic Front. And from all of those people, I learned lessons. And among the most important lessons I learned in life were that you must always treat others with respect, because you cannot expect people to respect you if you do not give them respect. I also learned that you can learn from everyone, because many people might not have riches, but they could have wisdom. And some of the lessons I've learned in life have been from the most unexpected quarters. Just engaging with people on the streets and stuff like that, and discovering that this person who I thought was, below me, because I might drive a fancy car, and this person might be walking in the street. And when you start speaking to the people, you actually realize that you can actually learn a lot from them. And so I really keep myself open to engaging with people from all walks of life and learning from everybody. You must always be guided, another lesson I learned, you must always be guided mainly by values and morals, and not by political, business, religious, or other affiliation, because otherwise your decisions might not always consider the bigger picture, which is always wanting the best for the most vulnerable in society. Always try to do the right thing based on values such as respect, fairness, non-racialism, non-sexism, and a belief in a more equitable society. South Africa's constitution is one of the best constitutions in the world, and it really it outlines the kind of society that this country could be. And if we implemented only half of what is in the Constitution, our country would be significantly better than what it is today. And so those of you who haven't taken the time because of your studies to read up on the Constitution, I really would encourage you to do that. Another lesson I've learned is that you must never ever forget where you come from, and you must always appreciate the people who sacrificed and helped you to become successful in whatever you do or whatever you plan to do with your lives. You must always try to find ways of giving back and helping others to also achieve their dreams. So one of the things that I've done a couple of years ago, I founded an organization in Hanover Park called the Hanover Park Foundation, and our aim was simply to give bursaries to young people from the area. And the way we did it, we just went to approach people who were from the area and who had kind of made it in life. And we said to them, listen, just give us 100 rand a month, okay? And if you give us 100 rand a month, that's 1,200 in a year. If 10 people give us, we've got 12,000, et cetera, okay? And I must tell you, it was, I can go on forever about the Hanover Park Foundation, but it was so difficult. The first year, we had enough money to give 4 bursaries, and we couldn't find a single person from Hanover Park who was going to university. That's the reality of Hanover Park. But I always believe in giving back, and we try to give back. And part of giving back is that the people that you give back to must also then join you once they are in a position to be able to give back. But the most important lesson I've learned in life is that learning never stops. It only stops when you pass away. So you have gotten a degree today. Some of you might have gotten your second or your third degree, but your learning doesn't stop when you have your degree. Your learning starts today, and your learning continues every single day. I want to just quickly conclude by welcoming all of you who have stopped studying to begin working to a new reality where you will soon realize that while the lessons you learned in university will always be valuable, the basics that you learned in university will stand you in good stead for the rest of your life. But the lessons you will learn in life are priceless. Congratulations on your achievements, and I wish you all the best for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roland Fisher, and I certainly would ensure that we get that speech and put it on the website for everybody to read. Let me also extend my congratulations on behalf of the University Executive to all our graduates. I see most of the undergraduate spaces are empty, but also to our postgraduate, specifically our doctoral graduates. Hearty congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the proceedings for this afternoon. The university takes great pleasure in inviting all graduates and the guests to exam room number 4, where tea, coffee, and soft drinks will be served. The national anthem will now be played. After that, you are requested to remain standing while the congregation is dissolved and the main and academic processions leave the hall. Please rise.
Se
By virtue of the power vested in me as acting Chancellor, I hereby dissolve this congregation of the University of the Free State.